Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now this is full pro because I've got Chris, my man, filming on the camera behind you, and we're going to review the SPEEDCOCKPIT by the Frenchie Co. It's quite a hyped up rig. There's been a lot of attention on it over social media everywhere, and we're going to basically unbox it, see what it's all about, put a Fanatec on it, kind of a semi-level, semi-pro level wheel, and yeah, see what the fuss is all about. Start unboxing this bad boy. So, what have I got to say about this? Well, it came about a week ago. It's probably worth saying we're filming this before lockdown. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not breaking the law. I believe it came from France because, is that where they're from? The Frenchie Co? That would make sense. I've seen a couple of reviews as well and people have been very impressed. Ooh, oh shit. Let's get onto it. SPEEDCOCKPIT. It looks fairly simple to construct, to be fair. Oh right, it's all one thing. So I used to be an engineer, and I'm not even joking, I used to be an engineer, or a junior engineer, so you're really going to see why I wasn't suitable for that role. This bit's really quite weird, isn't it? Armrest. Okay, that's not my fault, to be fair. That's not my fault. And it is worth saying that this review, I can be completely honest about everything. There's no like bias towards the rig. I don't have to promote it. It's not an ad, but I will be honest. So obviously, you know, that packaging there is not great, but if the rig's really awesome, then it doesn't really matter, does it? So there's so many bits. We're going to be here a while, Chris. So yeah, the delivery took not too long, to be fair. It took them only a week, which is really good. And as I said earlier, it's like around 400 quid, which, you know, if you're comparing it to other rigs, is similar to a GT Omega or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm trying to benchmark it to. If I try and compare it to that, then it's probably a bit stupid and pointless. I suppose with this kind of rig as well, setup time, I mean, if you're going to buy a rig to put in your lounge, I take it one element of it, you don't want to spend hours setting it up, do you? So this will be a good little test.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's cool. Ooh! Laminated wood. That's cool, isn't it? Let's get this out. I would say, can you give me a hand, Chris? But that would be impossible. Okay, let's start building it then. Follow that manual. Bolt. Okay. How good are you at building stuff?
Depends what it is.
Yeah. All right. You might come in handy.
You're the machine.
I might be holding that camera in a minute, and you might be building it. Step 1, put rubber buffers on bottom of chair chassis. Okay. I think it's safe to say nothing's damaged. I think this may be like the first review thing I've ever done as well. Like, I did a playseat thing, which will be above in a card, but that was more promoting it rather than reviewing it, because a lot of people already know what a playseat's like, whereas this is a new thing, so it's quite a weird. Yeah, it's like Christmas. Okay.
It looks like it's got potential.
It's got potential, isn't it? With all the bits around it.
Little Batman seat at the back as well.
Yeah. Oh right, little safety feature.
Make sure you don't damage your wood.
It's meant to be an innuendo. So they do say actually you can put a direct drive on it.
Really?
Yeah. With like proper pedals and everything, so in theory, but it doesn't look like it should hold a direct drive, I'm not going to lie. There's bolt holes here.
So that's interesting, so you mount it into the wood?
Yeah, maybe for a bit of rigidity.
Big word.
Thank you. Lovely wood, isn't it? Lovely wood. Okay. This is probably a bit of a two-man job, but we're going to go for it. Don't want to scratch your wood.
At least it's not IKEA.
No.
Kia is terrific.
To be fair, I've not really got too much for my Kia.
Mate, I've got a wardrobe and none of the doors are level. I've tried many times to make a difference.
Well, at least they provide all the tools and stuff as well. That was one thing I was going to worry about. But how long would you expect to usually spend on building a rig? Like, if you paid 400 quid for it?
I'd want it to be realistically done within the hour.
I'd agree, to be fair. I think I do cater to the, you know, the people that maybe struggle to do this with, you know, ease. I can't find the long enough bolts, mate. See, at least any issues I come across, I'm going to solve on video, so when people watch it, they can just do what I did.
Or I can cut it.
Or you can cut it out. That's a good point, yeah.
Your engineers from this season pissing themselves watching you, mate.
What size is that? 70. That's all Imperial as well. Brilliant. Okay, I'm getting somewhere now, Chris. Don't worry, mate. I know you really don't want to be here.
I mean, I'm more than happy to watch this.
I can't do it. What's going on, man? I can't screw that fucking bolt in. Do these bolts up. So I got 45 minutes to build this.
Yeah.
That's literally not tightening, which is concerning. Okay, again, yeah, it's going.
And so 25 years later, that bolt did eventually go in. But anyway, from this point onwards, we lost my audio, which is really annoying, but I'm here to walk you through the rest of the review and to let you know what I thought of the Frenchie Co Speed Cockpit. So putting the pedal board on was simple enough, as was the wheel stand. It's worth saying that both components felt solid, fairly heavy, which reassured me, to be fair, that this rig as a whole could be as rigid as they originally claimed. If we ignore the fact I'm, say, suboptimal in fitting these bits together, that's being kind, I followed the instructions pretty much word for word from the manual, and to be honest, it was simple enough. I took just over an hour to build the rig, so yeah, not too bad at all. Now, the headrest they provided had my name imprinted onto the cushion, which was a nice touch. I really wasn't expecting that, to be fair. And they provided a spare one too, just in case the other one ripped or whatever. So it's a small touch, but it did make for a nice surprise, and it does make it feel like your rig. The seat cushions fitted nice and easy, and they felt fairly comfortable in all honesty. I think after a while, they'll mould around your body. It's got the memory foam inside them, so in theory, the more and more you sit in the rig, the more comfortable it gets. They're not so comfy you're going to fall asleep, but I mean, I like them. They look pretty smart as well, which if you're going to put the rig in a lounge or somewhere like that, that's pretty helpful. Now, the gear shift mount they provided looked again really solid, really rigid. I didn't mount it in the end. I don't really use a gear shifter at the moment. I've not used one for a long time, but from looking at it briefly, it's a solid amount I've seen on a rig within this price range. I mean, you've got GT Omega, play seat, don't really do one on the F1 rigs. But to be honest, I don't think anything to worry about on this front. There was plenty of holes in the gear shift mount, so I'd like to say or think that you could fit pretty much every shifter onto it. So yeah, on that front, it looks pretty good. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, I decided to whack a Fanatec V2.5 Club Sport wheelbase on it, V3 pedal set along with an F1 Esports rim, just to see how it feels when I put some load through it. So a semi-professional wheel, not quite a direct drive, but it's not a million miles away. And as you can see, when I sit in the rig, first of all, with everything attached, it looks the nuts. Like, it looks really good in my opinion. I mean, you may think it looks rubbish. I saw some replies to my social media tweet hyping up the rig. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I mean, I personally quite like that, and I think it'd suit a lounge environment quite well. Let me stress once again, this review is completely honest. I'm not being paid to say anything, so you can trust everything I'm saying is genuine, and it's my opinion. So whether it's right or wrong, it is genuinely my opinion. The reason I'm saying that is because everything so far has been positive, and to be honest, when I first saw the rig, I didn't expect it to be this good. But anyways, we carry on with the review. Once I started to put the rig through its paces, I was even more impressed. I mean, the pedal board had a tiny amount of flex going forward, or forward flex, but this is a load cell brake on the stiffest setting, so it's along the lines of the worst case scenario in terms of the amount of flex you're seeing. If you put a Logitech pedal set or something like that on there, there would be absolutely no flex at all. There were plenty of different holes on both the pedal board and the wheel mount, so it seems pretty universal. They've really thought about it and they've catered by the looks of it for all the wheels and all the pedals on the market. The seat itself moves backwards and forwards by just lifting up the back and moving it accordingly. You can see I moved it all the way forward for a little bit just for the bants. Gives you an idea of the range this rig has in terms of how much you can push it forward and sit it upright like a GT almost, and then how much you want to lay it back a little bit, you know, more like a Formula style. So there's quite a lot of movability there, should we say. Although me sitting like that for more than 30 seconds is not going to do my back the world of good. The wheel mount itself is, again, really solid. I didn't have any force feedback to put the wheel through its paces, but I tried to make the best out of it by using my upper body strength to make it flex. I can't say it moved at all, to be honest. The thing is solid, not even joking you. I mean, to be honest, it makes sense. You look at the wheel mount, it looks really, really rigid and solid, but the pedal board looks quite flimsy, but it wasn't, so yeah. A big unique selling point of this rig is that in theory you can fold it up and put it in the corner of your lounge. This is true, you can. I wouldn't say it saves you much space, to be honest, but it's certainly better than nothing. And because it has a laminated piece of wood underneath with a handle, you can put it up on its side on the wall quite easily. I'd say it's a two-person job though, to be honest, unless you're an absolute unit, because it's fairly heavy. It's also worth mentioning that on their website you can buy a bunch of add-ons which make the rig that bit nicer. It's good to see because it looks like they've really thought it through. And so my overall thoughts on the Speed Cockpit from the Frenchie Co. So aside from the way the bolts were packaged when it arrived, where they flew about everywhere, which to me just looked like a genuine mistake, on the whole I'm very impressed by it. It looks great, it's competitively priced at around £400, it's solid, universal, it fits most wheels and pedals, folds up very nicely, can be stored very easily, the manual's very easy to follow, which is good because even an idiot like me could put it together. I'd say it's missing an attachable monitor stand. I think those really add to the rigs, but that could be something they add on down the line, I'm sure. There's a separate one you can buy as an add-on, to be fair, so they've not completely forgotten about it. It can be altered to suit different driving styles depending if you want to sit like a Formula car or a GT style rig, so there's a lot to like about this rig. Big up the Frenchie Co for sending me the rig in the first place to review it. It's been an absolute pleasure. For sending me a little message as well with a personalised touch to it. They even knew what my favourite track was in Suzuka, so I mean, fair play. But I hope the review generally was useful to you lot. First time I've really done something like this, so please leave some feedback in the comments below. It'd be much appreciated. Apologies for the lost audio, as I said earlier. But yeah, give it a thumbs up, sub away if you really enjoyed it. There's a link in the description below if you want to buy one yourself, so go check that out if you're interested. But until the next video, I'll see you soon.